In Malaysia, pregnant women are buried face down. Not all of them, just the ones who die during childbirth. The family drives a nail through the neck, stuffs the mouth with glass, packs lime into every cavity. This isn't medieval torture. This happens today, right now. Because if they don't, something comes back. And when it returns, it doesn't remember love. It only remembers dying. The smell hits first, frangipani flowers, sweet, almost sickly. Then the sound, high-pitched laughter that shouldn't exist, or crying, a baby's cry, echoing through empty streets after dark. That's when people run. Because in Southeast Asia, these two things together mean one thing. A Pontianak is hunting. In 2011, a construction crew in Singapore stopped working. The entire project halted. $2 million per day in losses. Investors panicked. Government officials demanded answers. The reason? Workers found a banana tree, shaped like a woman, buried face down in the foundation site. The crew refused to continue. They knew what it meant. A woman died there, died in childbirth, and someone buried her wrong. Now she's awake. And construction sites, with their disturbance of earth, with their noise and violation of ground, wake these things up. The Pontianak isn't a ghost, it's a vampire. A woman who died during pregnancy or childbirth, her spirit twisted by the trauma of death at the moment of giving life. The transformation is specific. She appears beautiful. Long black hair, white funeral dress flowing like fog, pale skin that seems to glow in moonlight. But the beauty is a trap, because when she gets close, the face changes, the jaw unhinges, the teeth sharpen, and she goes for the abdomen, always the abdomen. She disembowels victims with her claws, eating internal organs while they watch. The womb and intestines first, as if she's trying to take back what death stole from her. But there's something darker that nobody talks about. Something that explains why entire communities still practice these burial rituals, even in modern cities. Something that connects ancient fear to present-day horror. When Siti died during childbirth in 1987, her family made a choice. They buried her face down in the village cemetery outside Kuala Lumpur. Her mother wept as they drove an iron nail through the back of her daughter's neck, pinning her to the earth. Siti's sister placed broken glass in her mouth. The father, hands shaking, packed lime into every cavity of her body. Not out of cruelty, out of love. Because in their family, this had happened before. Siti's grandmother, face-down burial. The nail broke 3 years later during heavy rains. What returned wasn't their grandmother. It wore her face, but it hunted their children. They found the body eventually. The nail rusted through, the grave disturbed. And for 6 months, 3 children in the village died the same way. Disemboweled, empty. The wounds precise, as if something knew exactly where to cut. So when Siti died, they didn't take chances. Face down, nail through the neck, glass to prevent her from speaking, from calling out to the living, lime to burn away any chance of physical form rising. It's not superstition when it's happened before. It's pattern recognition. It's data. Brutal, horrifying data written in dead children. The 2011 Singapore incident wasn't isolated. Construction projects across Malaysia and Indonesia have documentation of work stoppages. Not because of unions, not because of funding, because workers find banana tree trunks in human shape, wrapped in white cloth, buried in strange positions. The tradition goes back centuries. When a Pontianak forms, when the spirit becomes too active, the community performs a capture ritual. They bind the spirit inside a banana tree trunk, carved and shaped to contain it. Then they bury it, face down, deep. and they mark the location. But records are lost. Cities expand. Developers buy land, and construction crews dig. In 2015, a shopping mall foundation in Johor Bahru hit something. The excavator operator stopped, called his supervisor. They found a bundle, white cloth, the smell. The excavator operator quit the same day, took his whole crew with him. The project sat abandoned for 8 months. Property value dropped 40%. Eventually, a different crew finished it. But the mall, even now, has a reputation. Security guards refuse graveyard shifts alone. Customers report the smell of frangipani in certain corridors. And the elevator to the parking garage sometimes stops between floors. When it does, people hear crying through the walls. Land records in Malaysia sometimes include notation: Tanah Berhantu, haunted ground. It affects property value, actual measurable economic impact. Because people know. Construction companies know. They budget for it now. Factor in potential work stoppages, ritual cleansing costs, increased wages for crews willing to work on marked land. This isn't folklore anymore. It's in the spreadsheets. The white dress isn't decoration. It's the funeral shroud. In traditional Southeast Asian Muslim burial practices, bodies are wrapped in white cloth. The Pontianak appears in this shroud because that's what she wore when buried. The long black hair, unbound, represents the state of preparation for burial. Living women bind their hair. The dead leave it loose. So when locals see a woman in white with loose black hair at night, the recognition is immediate. That's a corpse walking. The frangipani flower scent isn't chosen randomly. Frangipani trees grow in cemeteries across Southeast Asia. They're planted at graves. The scent is death, but it's also birth. Frangipani flowers are used in childbirth rituals, meant to ease labor. So the Pontianak carries both. The smell of birth and death mixed. The trauma of dying while giving life, compressed into a single scent that announces her presence. The laughter, high-pitched and wrong, comes from a distorted memory. Some accounts say Pontianaks laugh because they've gone mad from the pain of death. Others say the laughter is mimicry, an attempt to lure victims by sounding playful, childlike. But the most disturbing explanation is this: the laughter is the sound they made during labor. The delirious, pain-filled sounds that escape when someone is dying while trying to birth life. That moment between screaming and silence. That sound, frozen, repeated forever. The baby's cry has a different source. The Pontianak seeks what was taken, the child she never held, so she cries for it. And she hunts pregnant women specifically because of this drive. Not random violence, targeted, purposeful. She wants what she lost. Southeast Asia has some of the highest maternal mortality rates in the region's history. Even now, in 2025, rural areas struggle. In the 1800s and 1900s, dying during childbirth was common, expected even. Families prepared for it. And when it happened, fear followed. Because a woman who dies during childbirth dies in trauma, pain, fear, betrayal by her own body. That kind of death, in local belief, doesn't produce peaceful spirits. It produces rage. The Pontianak represents something specific about cultural trauma around maternal death. In Southeast Asian cultures, women are expected to become mothers. It's duty, identity, purpose. So when a woman dies during this fundamental moment, the tragedy is compounded. She failed at the one thing society demanded she succeed at. Not her fault, but the shame still exists. The grief is unbearable. And in some communities, that grief transformed into fear. Fear that the dead woman would return, angry, seeking revenge on the living who survived when she didn't. The burial practices are containment. Face down means she can't see the sky, can't find her way back to the surface. The nail through the neck pins her, prevents rising. Glass in the mouth stops speech, stops her from calling to the living. Lime burns, destroys the physical form that would allow return. It's extreme, violent even, but it comes from watching people die. Watching children die afterward, connecting those deaths, and desperately trying to stop the pattern. Some scholars argue the Pontianak myth served a social function. It kept men away from women during and after childbirth, reducing infection risk in pre-modern medicine. It created fear around pregnancy complications, making communities take maternal health seriously. It gave women power through fear. Dead women were terrifying, so living women carried some of that power. But that analysis misses something. The people performing these rituals, even today, aren't thinking about social functions. They're thinking about their daughter, their wife, their sister, lying in a grave, and the absolute consuming need to make sure she stays there. Not because they don't love her, because they do, because they can't bear the thought of her returning as something that hunts, something that would kill her own family without recognizing them. Modern Malaysia grapples with this. Urban, educated populations dismiss it as superstition, but rural communities maintain the practices. And even in cities, when someone dies during childbirth, families make choices, quiet choices. Hire specific funeral homes that know the old ways. Ensure certain precautions. Don't advertise it. But it happens. The Pontianak represents the price of being female in cultures where motherhood is mandatory and medical care is insufficient. Every Pontianak was a person, a woman with hopes, plans, who died when she should have been helped. The monster is a symptom. The real horror is the mortality rate, the preventable deaths. The fact that in some regions, pregnancy is still one of the most dangerous conditions a woman can experience. The banana tree replacement is practical necromancy. When a Pontianak is too active, too dangerous, communities don't destroy it. They transfer it. The banana tree trunk, soft and pliable, is carved, shaped. The ritual binds the spirit inside, then it's buried, face down, in marked ground. The idea is containment without destruction, because destroying the spirit is seen as disrespectful. She was a victim. She deserves rest, not annihilation. But she also can't be allowed to hunt. So they trap her, give her a body that can't move, can't harm, and they bury it where it won't be disturbed, until construction crews arrive. The cycle continues because the root cause continues. Women still die during childbirth in Southeast Asia. Less than before, but it happens. And each death carries the potential for this belief to reinforce. The family grieves, remembers the old stories, takes precautions, face down, nail, glass, lime, just in case. Because the alternative, the possibility that their loved one might return as something that murders, is too terrible to risk. This is what the Pontianak really represents. Cultural memory of maternal mortality trauma, crystallized into a monster that embodies every fear around pregnancy and death. The white dress is mourning. The black hair is preparation for burial. The scent is birth and death mixed. The crying is loss. The laughter is madness. The violence is revenge for dying, when modern medicine might have saved her. In 2018, a woman in rural Indonesia died during childbirth. Hospital 60 kilometers away. Couldn't reach it in time. She died at home. Her family buried her using the old methods: face down, nail, glass, lime. The local government tried to intervene, citing health regulations, dignity of the deceased. The family refused. The standoff lasted 2 days. Eventually, authorities allowed it. Because enforcing modern burial practices means taking responsibility for the modern medical care that wasn't there when she needed it. The Pontianak isn't just a monster. It's a mirror, reflecting cultural failure to protect women during the most vulnerable moment of their lives. Every story about a Pontianak is also a story about a woman who died because help didn't arrive, because the midwife didn't know what to do, because the hospital was too far, because complications weren't recognized, because someone bled out while people watched, helpless. The monster exists because the system fails, and until the system stops failing, people will keep burying their dead face down, keep driving nails through necks, keep packing mouths with glass, not because they believe in monsters, because they can't afford not to believe. Because belief is cheaper than healthcare. Rituals are more accessible than hospitals, and face-down burial is the only control they have over a situation that already took everything from them. That's the true horror of the Pontianak, not the monster. The fact that the monster is necessary, that communities need to fear their dead because their living weren't protected, that the ghost of a woman who died in childbirth is more terrifying than the fact that she died in childbirth in the first place. The next time construction stops on a Southeast Asian project because workers found something buried face down, remember this: that object was a person, a woman, a mother, or someone trying to be, who died when she shouldn't have, and her family loved her enough to do something terrible to her body to make sure she found peace. That's the Pontianak, not a monster. A tragedy buried face down, marked by a nail through the neck and the lingering smell of flowers.